I'm Ed.
I'm Jonathan.
And welcome to another episode of Small Town Puller. Today we're starting out a little bit different. We're actually heading up north to pick up another project. A couple of weeks ago, me and Jonathan decided we wanted to put together another tractor to run in the light 4-cylinder class that our club runs. There ain't enough tractors in the class. We could use a couple more, so we bought a 4-wheeler frame to put one of my spare motors in. Well, in the meantime, up in Richland Center, Wisconsin, a guy had one for sale that kind of fits in the class, and it's going to need some work to get to where we want it to be, but it might be a little bit quicker and a little bit faster project. So we're heading up north right now. We're going to go pick it up. If we get it bought, we'll show you what it looks like after we get it on the trailer, and then we're going to go take it back to the shop and get working on it.
Yep.
Let's do this, bud.
All right.
Well, this happened. So we got the deal done. I already talked to the guy a little bit. We had kind of already agreed on a price before we even drove up here. But this is it. It is a lot heavier. The sheet metal and stuff on it is really thick. So we are going to go into kind of some weight, I guess, shaving mode when we start with this thing. Kind of change it up a little bit. Try to make it a little bit nicer. But overall, I fired up. Seems to run good. I've seen this thing run once or twice before. So I think it'd be good, something good to start with and play with. And now it's just time to get it back to Platteville. And then we can let it sit. Yeah, John likes the blue lights underneath, so we'll probably keep something for that. Something for him, because he kind of thinks that's neat. So we'll keep them probably, or do something for Jonathan for that. And then, like I say, hopefully we'll have it ready for testing tune. Before we dig into this, though, we need to get the other two tractors done and ready for Waterloo. So we're going to get back on the road and get this thing to its new home. So it's a big day, Jonathan. We started on the new tractor.
Yeah.
First thing we gotta do is we gotta figure out what this thing weighs. We're trying to get it down so we can run the 1,050-pound class, and it's heavy. So we're gonna take it to
The hood.
The hood alone's gotta weigh like 20-30 pounds. Like, it is just heavy. So I think there's places that we can shave off some weight. But we're gonna take it to the local recycling place, because I've asked them if we can use their scale, and we are going to throw it up on the scale and find out what this thing weighs. I'm hoping the way it sits with me on it is less than 1,050 pounds. Because if we're less than 1,050 pounds with me on it the way it sits, I have no problem. We have probably 50-60 pounds where we're going to be able to cut off of it. Mm-hmm. And that'll give me some movable weight.
And it came with weight.
Yeah, and it did come with weights. But if it weighs 1,100 pounds with me on it right now, we really are going to have to put this thing on a diet. So we're on our way there now. We're going to go unload it and see what this thing weighs.
Black magic. We're just gonna set it in there because it won't stay running without us having this.
Don't worry about that.
Yeah. It's fine.
As soon as he scales, we'll fire it up.
Yeah. Why don't we let it run for a couple minutes?
What do you think it weighs? What's your guess?
With the jumper box or without?
With the jumper box, without the hood. What do you
1,000 pounds?
How much?
1,000?
10. You mean 1,000?
Yeah. Yeah.
We're gonna work on your math skills.
Yeah.
1,000. I'm gonna say with me on it, 1,060.
Okay. That's not too bad. The key's not on.
It is.
You're gonna have to wait a second.
Oh, huh. What's it weigh?
Hey, turn off the fuel pump.
I'd say 1,060. I need it lighter than that.
Oh, you gotta get off of it.
Well, it's gotta weigh 1,050 with me on it. I take out the jumper box for 1,050 right now. Alright, so that didn't quite go like I was hoping, but it wasn't terrible.
You got it on the dot.
Well, it's 1,060, and he claims, the guy at the scale claims that weighs about 30 pounds over.
I thought you said 20.
Or 20 pounds over, you're right. So that puts the tractor at 1,040 with me on it. That gives me 10 pounds for helmet, stuff like that. So that puts it right at 1,050 pounds with no movable weight. we need to have a little bit of movable weight on that thing. So we need to put on a diet. I think we can cut a lot of stuff off that hood area that they made. We're gonna have to add some steel here and there. I'd like to put a little roll bar hoop around the back of it. It just makes it a lot nicer to push, but however, I think a little bit of weight we're gonna add there, I think we'll be all right. So we're gonna go back, drop the trailer off, and start taking this thing apart.
So what if it's 1040 with movable weight?
That only gives us 10 pounds of movable weight, but it gives us 10 pounds of movable weight. So
versus 0. So
we'll see what we got. Hopefully scales are reading light. So we'll see if we can't get it so we have 30-40 pounds of movable weight. If we can get 30-40 pounds of movable weight, we'll be more than fine. But we're gonna see what we can't find to maybe get rid of some weight on this thing. There's a lot of heavy steel, so we're gonna see what we can't do. All right? Let's go get her unloaded. So we got it unloaded. Time to start disassembly. We're changing about everything from the seat to the fenders to the sheet metal. And we're gonna go through the wiring, try to clean that up a little bit. When we bought it, they said don't touch any of that. Well, we might touch some of that. There's a lot of wiring in here.
There are 2 wires that go to nothing.
Yeah, it's just scary. So we're gonna try to clean up all of that a little bit. We'll move the fuel pump. Probably play with some gearing, but I think to start, we just need to get this thing disassembled and see how much weight we can't take off of it.
We don't mean fully disassembled.
Well, we're gonna take all the sheet metal and everything off of it and get her down. Yeah, all that's getting cut off. So let's get all the tools out and get going. Alright, so started disassembly. All that's staying off. You can see more of what this thing is. Some of the stuff is a surprise to me. They're actually spring-loaded chain tensioners in here, which this one, I don't know. Like, is that gonna hit the chain? I don't know. This was actually mounted up on there. It actually works, so I don't know how much we're gonna do on that one. But all the square tubing is really thick. I mean, it does have 4 bearings on the rear axle. We're gonna let all that alone. But we might see if we can't cut some weight out of the back of this even, like
just this here.
All of this is just...
We could probably cut this off and...
I don't know what we're doing yet, bud.
This is like the lightest piece.
That is like, the fenders weren't too bad. Otherwise, we're getting there. We're gonna end up getting all this off.
Yeah.
Get that all taken off. We'll move the shifter to the other side of the tractor where it's supposed to be. A lot of little stuff, but eventually this is going to come up to here, and that's kind of what the center of the tractor will look like, which should make it look quite a bit better. So not going to try to reinvent the wheel. We're just going to try to make the wheel look a little more round. So we're going to keep this assembly and see what else we can't get accomplished. So we had a little bit of time, decided to come down to the shop and work on the tractor for a little bit. Jonathan got the old log style header off of there, which was horrible. While he was doing that, I kind of finished cleaning up back here so we could start building stuff back up. So hopefully now we're going to start going ahead. And my initial plan was to find an exhaust or header for this. And this one is one I had just kind of sitting around. It's for a KZ1000. And my initial plan was Jonathan cut that log style header off. These come out right there. And we are going to cut these, grind these, and then fit these into here. And then weld all this back solid. To which we are getting ready to kind of do all that. And Jonathan said, how come we don't just bolt this on? And after doing some looking, these are the correct size diameter, and these are actually the correct size diameter as well. Now, we end up going over to the vise, and we had to push this whole rack together probably close to, I don't know, 4 inches or more.
Yeah.
And they're not quite 100% yet, but I think by the time we get the bolts in there, it'll draw it up tight. We had to run out to Farm and Fleet, or run out to Menards and get some longer bolts, but I actually think we can bolt this all together, and I think these will all fit without doing any real modification. I think it'll all snug up tight. So I think our goal overnight is to try to get this exhaust bolted on and hopefully make it all fit. And as much as it fought me a lot, I think it's gonna fit. Overall, I mean, they all fit up in there, they all butt up in there. Hopefully after we run the motor a couple times, it puts a little heat in the exhaust and it kind of holds its shape. Otherwise, they kind of suck to put off and on. But you know what? It's a free header and we're gonna take it because this thing's kind of a budget build. So I think we're gonna call it a night. We got an exhaust on it, which is more than we thought we were gonna get done. So next step, kind of connect onto where these are and finish getting all this and start to get that all buttoned up and build some fenders. So I think we're gonna call it a night. Let's head home and we'll get back to her next time. So I think next, Jonathan, I think we're gonna take and we need to start building this back out. So we're gonna do some measuring. We're gonna have you start cutting the steel, and then I'm gonna keep cutting some more off the back. Because we're gonna cut a little off of this hitch area, which is kind of not good. And then we'll be able to put the piece of aluminum down straight on here, which we can bolt the seat to. And that'll in turn get us a little more free weight. And then we can actually weld this to here, try to strengthen that up a little bit. So I'm gonna work on cutting this off. We're gonna take some measurements and get you cutting some angle iron. We did end up cutting these rails off. Move this back a little bit because there was a small chunk, just kind of section on the end. We got this plate that's gonna go on there. This is actually gonna bolt to this. And then we're gonna continue it with angle iron up into here. And then we're gonna end up trying to go on to this right there. So this front part will actually unbolt. That way if we need to pull the motor or anything, we can. We got the aluminum piece cut for here, and I think we got the holes drilled for that. So I think our next step is going to be trying to we'll get this bolted on and trying to get these kind of mocked up on the end. And then hopefully we can get all that stuff kind of buttoned up today, or at least tack welded in place today. That way we can move on to the next thing. So I think we're gonna get that set up and get that tack welded on. Went pretty good. We always just put angle iron on there to kind of match up. Clamp it to both sides, that way it kind of runs it nice and straight. Like I said, we're gonna have 3 chunks of aluminum. The first one's already cut, it's gonna go to about the middle of there. Next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have Jonathan, we're gonna measure out from here up, and he's gonna cut them braces so we can weld them in, and then we'll cut the one that goes across right there, and we'll get all that stuff tack welded in, and then that'll be done. Then we can start covering it with aluminum. So it'd be kind of nice when we get that covered. I think I've already got the holes cut to bolt the seat down, so hopefully we have a seat bolted on here yet today. And that's all tack welded together. Ended up not going too bad. Again, I think this is gonna look a lot nicer once it's all done. This will help get our chain guard and everything on that side. That's still warm from me welding, so probably shouldn't be touching that. Got the bolts in. I had Jonathan get the bolts put in there, so that's all sitting in place. I think next we're gonna set that plate on there, and Jonathan wants to drill the holes. We're gonna get that clamped in place, and then hopefully the seat's bolted on here pretty quick. And then at least at that point, we can sit on it and make noises. I know it. And then we can find out the steering wheel's in an awkward place and it's not gonna work. So, can't wait. So I must say, Jonathan, the seating position's not that bad.
Let me try.
You want to try it? Here.
Let me try.
It's really not that bad. We get the floorboards and stuff on it. It's not too bad. A little long for you, but not bad. You know, if we had to extend the steering up a little bit, we could, but overall, I think that's going to work. I think next we're going to work on getting the hoop done, cutting the last 2 panels for up front, and then fenders. So we got this panel cut. I was actually going to make it in 2 panels about where that line is, and Jonathan said, why don't we just pull the steering wheel off and put it in 1 panel? And I'm kind of glad he said something and talked me into it, because that looks so much better. We're going to put some sides on here a little bit, and we're going to make the sides removable. We're going to put the battery probably down in here someplace. Something where we can still get at it with this on. But no, overall, I think that turned out pretty good. That's going to look so much better than what it had before. Because, John, where did that box start, or the refrigerator, whatever you want to call it, started? I think right about here, and went up and over the motor. And
It started right here. Wait.
no, because it had the steering come out of it a little bit. It was right about there, but this is going to look a lot. Are you installing the steering with a hammer?
Yes.
All right, we'll just let that. It's good for there for now, John.
It's working.
It is. I didn't say it wasn't.
It's on farther than
But we'll make a couple of bolts to put in this one. We will actually probably take and make it so when you put these bolts in, it holds the side cover as well. So when you take the bolt out of here, you're going to be able to pull the side cover out, and that will actually make it so then this comes loose as well. So you kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone on that one for undoing it. But overall, Jonathan, I think that turned out pretty dang good. I'm really happy you talked me into doing that in 1 piece, because now it looks a lot cleaner. So
And it covers up a lot more.
covers up so much more. Like I said, once this is all painted, we get the new fenders and stuff on it, then I think this thing's going to look quite a bit better than what it did before. So I think what we're going to start to work on tonight is the roll bar in the back. Big reason for doing it, I mean, there is a little bit for safety in case it would tip over. With it being a live axle, they can get a little bit squirrelier. But the bigger reason is, one, it's going to give me a back mount for the fender bar, or the brace for the fenders, and then they push around so much easier. And I know I kind of gave my dad a lot of crap when he put the roll cage on his tractor, which is sitting right there. But when he put that on, I'm like, you don't need to, and I really kind of was against it. But when it comes to having to move them around and push them around, they so much nicer to have that, so you're not bent down trying to move them. So that is my other big reason for doing it, is it works. So I think we're going to work on doing that. The thing that sucks with this one is when I built the cages on the last 2 tractors, I wanted 1 continuous bend to start down here at the bottom, go up and over and down. I cannot do that with the bends we are trying to do on here. It about has to be 1 continuous 180 degree bend, and my bender only does 90 degrees, and I need to have like 5 inches in between the 2 90 degree bends, and I don't have enough room for that on here. We're only going to have like 3 inches, so we are going to have to splice it in the middle,
So 90
which
and 90.
sucks. Yeah, so we're going to have to do 2 pipes, 90 and 90, and we'll probably put like a 10 or 15 degree bend down or out here, so it kind of bends it back a little bit. But unfortunately, that's what it's going to be. Checking the seating position, throttle action. So overall, didn't turn out too bad. Didn't get really any of the cutting and bending done, and quite frankly, I was probably saying some words I shouldn't have been, so probably right we didn't record it. But overall, not too bad. Ended up going with about 12 degree bend on the bottom. Thought there'd be a little more spring back, so we were shooting for 10, which it ain't really gonna matter. It really doesn't have to line up with anything, but not too bad. Still sucks that we had to cut and sleeve it and weld it right there, but overall, not too bad. We didn't screw up any pipe either, so that should work. Jonathan says that he can sit on it and ride it, and we'll be all right. So I think next we're gonna try to get the brace mount. We don't have it welded yet on the bottom. We don't have it welded yet. It's just kind of zip tied in place, but we're gonna get the brace either cut for the fenders, or we might try to roll one of the fenders yet tonight before we take off. So I think maybe we'll do that. Having fun.
Yeah.
So we're back working at the tractor again today. We were in the other night, actually got the fenders final cut, and this bracket welded down to the back there. So the fenders are kind of sitting where they're gonna sit, and then we've also been kind of working on the clutch, brake, and gas pedal, or hand throttle. I believe we've got the cable, brake line, and new clutch cable ordered, correct? I think we have all that stuff ordered. Hopefully they're all going to work out. None of it is for this motor at all. It is all just kind of stuff I think will fit. But I think everything will work. So what we're going to do today is we're going to try to finish the fenders. And then we've got a pipe. There's one sitting right here. It's going to be a little bit smaller than this. We're going to end up putting a pipe basically from there to there.
On the underside.
Well, we'll figure it out.
It's not level side by.
Yeah, you're right. I know the seat doesn't, nothing's side, yeah. Nothing's right side to side, but we're gonna try to put a pipe on there about like that. And what that's gonna do is give us a little bit of a brace up onto here, and then that's gonna give us a place to mount our hand throttle. So that's gonna be kind of our goal, is get them done, maybe get the floorboard so they're bolted on solid. If we get anything past that, we're gonna mount that too for the brake or the clutch on the other side. So we're gonna start by cutting some aluminum, measuring all that out. We're gonna have to run up to our house to use the brake up there because my brake here ain't big enough. And then get the sides made, and then like I say, just kind of go from there. Johnson's taking a Pringle break. Nothing wrong with a good snack. We went to my house, got the aluminum piece bent. Should be about the right angle. I'd like to make it so it's about the same as where we put the bend on the roll bar hoop. But I think this is going to work. I am going to go grab some drills. We got to take out some of the rivets down on there and then start to get this set on. I'll have Jonathan help me do that. And then when I start cutting the end pieces for this, I'm going to have Jonathan start cutting the pipe so we can bend that and get that hopefully tack welded on here yet pretty quick. So let's grab some more tools out. We got to grab the drill, stuff like that. And then let's get this thing mounted so we can have the fenders completely done today. You know how nice that'll be? It'll be perfect. So I got the side cut and went to fit it up there, and it's a little off. So we're gonna make a new side. We can kind of see, kind of like what we usually do on the tractors. Just gonna slide up into there and sit like that. But I do have it about a 1/2 inch too long or too tall. So we'll make a new side. While I did that, Jonathan cut these two pieces of pipe. I think we're gonna measure them out and bend them up quick, and then Jonathan can proceed to keep kind of doing the final cut and stuff on that while I attempt to make this the correct way. So let's kind of decide what we want to do for measurements there, and let's bend some pipe.
It says 0.
Alright, we good there? Alright. We're looking to go
7.5.
147.5.
147?
Or sorry, 47.5. My bad. It actually goes up to 90 degrees. Keep going. Keep going. A little more. Oh, that'll work. 147.6.
It's 47.
Or sorry, yeah, I don't know why I keep saying that. All right, let's get set up for the next one. All right, give me a little pressure. We don't need to measure it yet. Just give me a little pressure first. Hold up.
What?
All right, now we zero this out.
It should be. There.
0.
47.5? 47.5.
47.5. A little more. One more. I said one.
Sorry.
Nah, that'll work. All right, let's see if it fits. All right, so first pipe bent. I think it's gonna work pretty well. We're gonna have to cut some off and drop it down. We're gonna try to get it down about to right there and close to the fenders. That'll give us a perfect place to mount the throttle too. So let's get the second one bent up, and then you can start trimming them. So we're back at it. We're down here tonight. All the cables and stuff I've ordered come in the last couple of days, so hopefully we have a longer brake line that will work. This should be the throttle cable, which I believe should be long enough to work, and I actually ordered 2 different lengths of clutch cables, so hopefully all the cables we need are here. The new master cylinder for the brake is here. We're changing it because this one actually goes to the other side, and I wanted one to stick out this side, so we'll put on a pipe right there. So hopefully we have everything we need to get all the controls hooked up. The pipes we bent, we are on apparently attempt number 3 because I screwed up the one and then I was able to duplicate the one I screwed up, and now they're going to end up working out. I just got to trim them down. So I'm going to start with this way. Jonathan proceeds to finish drilling and mounting the floorboards. You got the one I think drilled the other day, didn't you? And then I think he's going to try to get this one drilled today. Yeah, there it is. So he'll try to get this one drilled and bolted down. And then hopefully by then he can start helping me swapping over cables and stuff. And then if I can get this made, I might start working on the hand throttle mount. So yeah, if Jonathan get out the drill, get the drill bits out, start doing that, and I'm going to start cutting some pipe. I'm dug into the wiring a little bit. It's a mess. Probably should have left it alone and just kept running it the way it was. But I'm a little past that point. So trying to get rid of any wire we don't need. I mean, there's a lot of the wiring for the lights and stuff in there yet, but I mean, it is just, it's not good.
We can only go so far backwards.
Yeah, you're right. I can't make it much worse than what it is. So before they had it in kind of one of these boxes, it's probably going to go there again. We're not going to use the old one because the holes and stuff they had cut in it, but we're probably going to try to get that mounted someplace up behind the motor, keep the wiring pretty close. But yeah, so that's that. The other thing we're going to try to get done is Jonathan got these pipes cut. These are going to end up getting welded on down around here, and that's where we're going to mount the clutch pedal on this side. We'll put one on the other side, and that's where we'll mount the brake. And then I got the lever cut for the hand throttle, and we're going to start by trying to get those 3 parts, or those 3 mounted, so then all the controls of the tractor will be done. And then we can move on to maybe some wiring, mount the gas tank and stuff like that. We're going to end up moving this bracket over a little bit, because right now when you sit on the tractor, this kind of rubs against your leg pretty hard. So we're going to move that over a little bit. Otherwise, all that stuff should go pretty quick. I'll have Jonathan start getting the welder and stuff set up while I cut that back off, and then we'll try to get all that stuff mounted. It is not made for a fat guy, I can tell you that. Let's see if we can get this in here. Fits like an, actually I think it slides in better. I've got some slides in the other way. Starting this way a lot easier. Oh, there we go. Alright. This should bolt on right there, or bolt on right there. Put it right there. That might work. Go grab me a Sharpie. Alright, let's weld it on right there and see if we've got throttle. Squints. Actually works pretty good. Wham! Oh, that's not what it sounds like. Cool. Other than a throttle stop on it, I think we'll be good. So I'm back working on this tractor. Again, we're hoping to run it about a week and a half. And we would like to get it painted, and there's still a bunch of little stuff left to do, but we do have all the controls and stuff figured out. The hand throttle works. We have the wiring for the most part figured out. It is not going to look the prettiest. This mess is going to get cleaned up some yet. Me and Jonathan were down here last Saturday, and we didn't do any filming because it was very boring of us just chasing wires, getting rid of stuff we didn't need. This harness still had a lot of stuff for like the headlights and turn signals, and there's a big pile of it right there. We got rid of as much as we could, and then it come to the point where we just kind of had to stop. it still works. Everything works good. The bike still fires up. We checked that. We are still going to use the key ignition switch. Jonathan kind of wanted to, and we got it figured out for the kill switch for the power of the back. So we got all that stuff figured out. But the big thing is we would like to paint it this Friday. The fenders aren't going to take much. The spoiler, all the sheet metal on the back isn't going to take much to prep. Jonathan's going to probably try to do that in the mornings. These two panels are not going to take much to prep. Jonathan actually, it's sitting over there. But Jonathan drilled all the holes this morning for the key switch and the toggle switches that we need. The big thing that we need to get made yet is I wanted to make some side shields for this, and we got to have the shifter figured out. That way we can actually operate the shifter, and for when I make these side shields, if there's going to be any holes in anything, we need to get them figured out now. So I think that's what I'm going to work on tonight. We're going to make it so I've got a shifter ball ordered that's going to go into this thread. So this is going to be the actual lever that's going to operate it. But I haven't decided if it's going to be on the outside of the frame, the inside of the frame. I would like it on the inside of the frame. However, then I think we're going to run into issues with it maybe touching the chain. So I'm going to see what I can come up with and kind of go from there. So I think I got it, kind of figured out how we're going to do it. Initially, I was going to take and get this mounted up on here. You know, put some kind of like bushing here, you know, run the lever up on this side. And at that point, forward's going to be back on here, which isn't a big deal. However, once I started setting all this in here, this gets really tight, and this is going to pretty much hit on that chain. So after I kind of got looking at it, I drilled a hole right here, and we're actually just going to put a lever that comes up off of here. I'm going to run out and get a different little knuckle for here, and then forward will be forward and back will be back. It'll be less moving parts, and I actually think it'll work pretty good. So I think I'm going to take this off. We're going to run out to the local hardware store and get what we need there, and then hopefully we can put this together pretty quick and actually try it. The shift ball that I ordered for it will not be here till Friday. Jonathan's always wanted to use a pool ball, so I ordered a red, I believe it's number 3 red pool ball, and that'll be here, and he doesn't know that's coming, so I think he'll be pretty excited when he gets to put that on, because he's been wanting to use a pool ball for a shifter for a while. So we're going to run out, go grab a new end for here, make a little lever for here, and then I think we should be able to have this together here pretty quick. And we got a shifter. Should work out pretty good. So hopefully that'll work. It might be a little bit of a reach, but this way it clears the chain and everything. Everything works pretty good. It'll be a little bit tighter once we get it all put together, but overall pretty happy with it. The only thing I need to do next before I start disassembling this for paint is I need to drill some holes in this for the battery hold down. We're just going to run 2 pieces of basically all thread there and on the other side, and then a plate across the top, some wing nuts, hold it down. And I'm going to try to make these covers for the side yet. So I'm going to get going on them. And then hopefully, before too long, I can actually get this thing disassembled and we'll get it painted. So back at it. We're down to a couple of days. We're supposed to be running this thing on Saturday. Weather's not looking good, but we still want to have it ready to go. So we got a lot of work to do in a short amount of time. I did find some time today to kind of go around and do a bunch of the final welding. I think we got most of it. So our next step is going to be grinding some of the welds and prepping all of the steel for the frame and stuff to spray or to paint tonight. That's kind of our goal, is to get all that stuff painted. That way we can go to assembly, and I think Jonathan might work on some of that tomorrow. We did get, though, however, the sheet metal prepped, and this is going to be the color. The name is
a
good.
lot better in the sun.
Yeah, it does look a little bit cooler in the sun. It's like a real reddish orangish color. A lot of it is just because this is color I had. Yeah, we ended up going with a number 3 pool ball for the shifter.
It's threaded and it came
Yep,
with
we
a
got it
bunch of
threaded so it
different
fits on the
stuff.
shifter. But overall, sheet metal turned out pretty good. It's not perfect. The tractor itself, I mean, it's going to look really good. We did not have time to make everything perfect, but it is going to look really sharp, I think, when it's done. So I think we're going to get everything set up. Jonathan playing on his bike. Get everything set up and get everything ground, and then try to get everything spray painted tonight so Jonathan can put it together in the morning. And we're going to call it for tonight. We did get all the brackets and stuff painted. They're that charcoal color. Kind of went over the frame. Everything's just done with rattle cans on this stuff. But overall, I think it's going to look pretty good. The charcoal color with the red color we got picked out. Hopefully tomorrow afternoon while I'm working, or hopefully I can kind of help Jonathan a little bit. But we're going to get hopefully some of the sheet metal and start actually assembling this thing tomorrow. So
I was gonna say this one won't take nearly as much as
this
the other
won't, yes, this one won't take nearly as much to put together as the purple tractor or my tractor, but there's still a lot of work left. So
that one, 'cause
or that one, but we're gonna call it a night. Come back tomorrow and get something, or see how much we can get done. All the sheet metal's on. It's turned out pretty good. I think overall we're pretty happy with the way this thing is gonna look. Haven't been doing a whole lot of filming just because I've been working on it during work week, and I just don't like to film when my guys are working on customers' cars and stuff like that. So not a whole lot of filming done. We did get all the switches and stuff. We had all them pre-drilled, mounted there. We did hook up the battery, fired it up yesterday to make sure all that was working. We still haven't made weight brackets for it yet. I have ideas of how I'm going to do it, but we do need to get it done, and test and tune is tomorrow. So I've got to get this one finished up. I'm going to try to spend most of the day working on it, and I still have to put that one back together. So a lot of work left to do. Test and tune starts tomorrow. I'm sure we will probably be loading them and doing some finished stuff tomorrow morning. But overall, I think it will work. So I'm gonna get going, try to get the rest of everything mounted, like the seat and everything, and then finish up the wiring and just start getting all the little stuff ready for tomorrow. All right, so today is the day. We are hoping to make a pass with this thing tonight. We were initially supposed to go today for a test and tune, but we are not going to make it. And they did cancel it because of some rain in the area, so it kind of worked out. Tractor has the name. We decided the night we bought it, we were going to call it Cherry Bomb. So that is why it is that kind of burgundy color. And we thought it was kind of a neat name, so that's what we went with. Not a whole lot left to do to it, just a lot of little stuff. I stayed late last night, got all the weight brackets made. Fortunate that my guys were able to let me kind of work on this stuff over the last couple of days. Otherwise, I don't know if we'd have gotten it done for tonight. But yeah, I get the weight brackets on. I want to put a fuel pressure regulator in it. Just a handful of little things, but I think we should be able to have it done here pretty soon this morning. Hopefully within a couple hours, and then we can be starting to load stuff in the trailer. So I'm going to get at it. Jonathan should be showing up sometime this morning. He's been hanging out with some cousins that come back from Minnesota. So he's going to hang out with them for a little bit this morning, then come help me kind of get this thing finished up and get it loaded in the trailer. And that's it for this episode of Small Town Puller. I hope you enjoyed us building our new tractor Cherry Bomb. Please like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you later.